Hello everybody and welcome to Gene's Reviews from a regular dude, where I do trailer reactions, I react to YouTube videos, I review YouTube channels, occasionally I'll review a movie, but really, I just do whatever the hell I want. Hello everybody and thank you. Welcome back to Gene's Reviews. Today we're going to check out 5 unsolved mysteries that were recently solved through the internet. So let's check this one out right now. I like seeing these when there's some kind of closure to it.
In the days before the internet, solving crimes were much more difficult than they are now. Advancements in technology has brought the justice system closer to solving crimes and mysteries across the world. Another benefit to the internet, though, is how online users or groups can actually come together to perform an amateur investigation. In some of these cases, mysteries and crimes have been solved thanks to the help of the public online. Burning questions were finally answered when these groups or individuals offered their skill set.
I'm not technically smart enough to do anything like that.
Number 5. Luckily, there are literally millions of resources and websites containing information about depression and thoughts of taking one's own life. Many people report to the internet to seek help and support during the lowest points of their life. Often, these sources are useful and can even prevent tragedy. That being said, it's unbelievable that someone seeking help online could actually be encouraged to do the opposite of get better. However, that's what happened to 18-year-old Nadia Kajuji in 2008. The young woman jumped off of a bridge from Ottawa's icy Rideau River and ultimately ended her own life. Her friends and relatives were devastated at the loss, mourning the woman's passing. According to those who were close to her, Nadia had been suffering from depression symptoms for a long time. Additionally, she had previously miscarried during pregnancy and was facing financial struggles and was under immense pressure at school. Therefore, while her family was shocked at the loss, they also understood to some degree. It made sense given all the facts that Nadia would choose to do something like this. After her passing, though, some details came to light that made the unquestionable suicide a bit more complicated. In her browsing history, detectives found
I've been depressed before, but I've never been to the point where I actually was going to kill myself. Maybe it's because I'm too scared. I don't know. I think that's it, though.
That she spent a lot of time on one particular website and chat room. It seems at first that Nadia was visiting the website for emotional support and help with her suicidal thoughts, but instead, she found something disturbing while on the site. A 31-year-old female nurse from Minneapolis named Cami frequently chatted with Nadia for hours on end. During one of their conversations, Nadia asked what it would feel like to pass away. Cami explained that it would probably feel great. A few messages later, the pair made a suicide pact. Cami encouraged Nadia non-stop in a few days prior to her passing. While officers were aware of the Cami user, they couldn't uncover her true identity, location, or even contact information. What seemed at first to be a usual self-harm case quickly turned into a possible criminal investigation. Eventually, Celia Blay, a school teacher and counselor, came across Cami while providing online counseling for depression. The two came in contact, and after some manipulation and online searching, Celia successfully exposed Cami's true identity. The user was actually a 52-year-old married father of 2 named William Dinkle. Celia was able to find this information and track down his location. She quickly learned that the man was living in Minnesota and had been involved in other incidents starting as far back as 2005. He was charged and sentenced to 360 days in prison, but the conviction was later reversed after Minnesota Supreme Court decided that William was using his First Amendment right to free speech. Although some will agree what he did was evil, cruel, or immoral, it was not technically illegal. Still, if Celia did not discover the man's true identity, he would have gone on to spark more tragedy.
That guy, he deserves to burn in hell, as far as I'm concerned. Taking advantage of somebody who obviously, my reaction would be to try and help her, to get her help. I don't understand people. I don't understand it. He probably had fun with it.
Number 4. Child predators are some of the most hated individuals all across the board. Even some twisted killers were upset by the disgusting acts and crimes of these suspects. It may seem like predators are usually hidden away and secretive about their sick desires. However, if you visit some of the deepest and darkest corners of the internet or the dark web, you'll find that these criminals are frequently very open and detailed about their crimes, given the right platform. Even amongst all of the illegal and unsettling criminal activity that occurs on the dark web, crimes involving children are still commonly looked down upon. Brad Willman, a self-described private computer cop, spent a significant amount of his time and energy to bring back the sickos online to the surface, so he could help expose them and bring them to justice. Brad began his work in the 1990s by digging around online to locate users that downloaded or distributed child content. Around 2000, Brad had created a Trojan horse program to take his investigations a step further. He would post his program to chat rooms, forums, and blogs that predators were known to frequent. The program would look like a photo file attachment, which could be downloaded.
Give him a virus?
Hoping the file contained indecent content, users were tricked into downloading the virus. Yep. The program would run on their computer and grant Brad access to all of their activities without them ever knowing. Brad successfully gained access to over 3,000 computers belonging to predators, distributors, and customers. Police officers, military personnel, social workers, priests, and judges are just a few of the public figures he obtained information on. One of the more popular cases involving this operation surrounded California Superior Court judge.
They need to hire this guy to take down these child predators. Sounds like he's really smart dude. They should hire him and pay him good to help take these guys down.
Ronald C. Klein. Klein was one of many to download the Trojan horse, allowing Brad to monitor his every move. Brad anonymously exposed detailed diary entries that Klein wrote in relation to his defiant behavior and crimes. In 2001, officers searched Klein's home and found 1,500 indecent computer images of young children. His office computer at the courthouse also contained similar content. He endured a 4-year trial and was eventually sentenced to 27 to 33 months in prison. He was also barred from ever performing legal work again. Shit. He was forced to register as a sex offender. Number 3. Gregory May was a well-known tattoo artist and antiques collector that made a living in Bellevue, Iowa. Greg's girlfriend, Jan Booman, stopped by his home on January 11, 2001. She saw Greg inside, but he would not respond to her. She also saw Julie Johnson, who was dating Greg's roommate, Duke. Jan left and received a phone call from Julie, who claimed Greg had left for Chicago after telling her that he had no interest in dating Jan. About 3 days later, Jan visited Greg's home again and found that his car, furniture, Civil War memorabilia, and cash supply was all gone. Near the end of January of 2001, Greg's son Don began to worry. He hadn't heard from his father in about a month. The two were very close, and it was unlike Greg to ignore his kids. His children and ex-wife found it hard to believe that Greg would just vanish without letting them know or remain in contact with them throughout his trip. His phone was disconnected, and in February, his family traveled to Bellevue to file a missing persons report. As the investigation went on, Greg's car was eventually found in Wisconsin. Many of his antiques that were stolen also started showing up in pawn and antique shops. This turned the attention of investigators to Julie and Duke, who conveniently left town after Greg's disappearance and were allegedly proven to be involved in reselling his belongings. They were charged for stealing Greg's belongings and interfering with an investigation. It was difficult to keep the trial going without a body, though. Very little evidence suggested that either of them were involved in the murder. That is, until an E-detective, Ellen Leach, discovered something both terrifying and amazing as it would progress the case forward. Ellen is known for solving cases by investigating and locating evidence that may have otherwise been overlooked. Ellen was investigating an unrelated missing persons case when she stumbled across this valuable discovery. A truck driver in Missouri found a white bucket full of cement. He cracked the cement and found that a decayed human skull was inside. Ellen, who got in contact with the truck driver, sent a facial recognition expert to analyze the skull. They recreated the face and sent a photo to Ellen, who searched the internet tirelessly for hours on end to find a missing persons report that resembled this John Doe. After her hard work, she found that the missing man named Gregory May. She found that the missing man, Greg, shockingly resembled this face. She shared all of the information with Bellevue police, and the evidence was later used to convict Duke.
Good.
Number 2. In December 2011, the day after Christmas, 17-year-old Hailey Wilson ran away from home. She took only her guitar and bedding when she left through her bedroom window, leaving behind Amarillo, Texas. She left her father, Ray Wilson, a note saying that she felt as though her life had no meaning and she was sorry. She also instructed her father not to look for her. Of course, though, her dad immediately started working to find her. He reported her missing and then created a short video in which he shared the details of the runaway and begged his daughter to return home safely. He shared that video on YouTube, Facebook, and Twitter. It quickly went viral and a massive team of online users came together to find Hailey. Ray's followers began sharing his story far and wide. They sent in photos and details to local law enforcement and even obtained witness reports from random people that had seen Hailey traveling. Eventually, witnesses reported seeing Hailey walking alongside a road in San Diego near a wooded area filled with caves and caverns. An online user reported that information to San Diego police. Officers quickly reported to the area and began searching. In less than an hour, Hailey was found in a cave. She was safe and healthy, but also appeared tired and weathered. Her father hit the road again to San Diego and was reunited with his daughter a short while later. After an emotional meeting between the regretful daughter and her terrified father, Ray posted online that Hailey was safe and on her way back home. He thanked his followers for their amazing help, and thanks to social media, finding
awesome.
Hailey only took about a week. Considering she was alone in the wilderness, if any more time had passed, she could have faced serious danger or harm. It's just an example of how useful social media can be at some time.
That's awesome. I'm glad to hear something happy, you know?
Number 1. In 1968, a 4-year-old named Carolee Sadie Ashby was the victim of a hit-and-run case. Unfortunately, she lost her life and her family mourned not only the loss of her, but the fact that justice may never be served. Without street cameras or substantial witnesses, it's hard to find the driver. Although a brief investigation did follow the incident, detectives were able to locate a suspect and the case went cold. For over 45 years, the tragic event haunted the Ashby family because they knew that their child's killer was walking the streets a free man. In early 2012, Lieutenant Russ Johnson opened the case for unknown reasons and posted the details to a Facebook group that investigates facts about local history in upstate New York, where the crime occurred. The post gained a lot of attention from members and also went viral, causing the information to be shared as far as Florida. And it's a good thing because a break in the case happened shortly after. A woman living in Florida called upstate police after seeing the post. She told them that on the night of the incident, a member of the Pawhurst community, one of the woman's neighbors, asked her to lie to police for them by saying that she was the driver at the party on a specific night. They didn't give her much information, and even though she refused to lie to police, she mostly pushed the conversation to the back of her mind. That was until she saw the Facebook post. Thanks to this new tip, the case was reopened and a new investigation began. Officers located the 62-year-old Douglas Parkhurst and questioned his involvement in the accident. He openly admitted that he'd been heavily drinking that night and was responsible for the girl's passing. He explained that the guilt had followed him ever since, but he was too scared to come forward. When the Ashby family heard the noise, they were saddened to remember that horrible night, but were joyous to learn that justice could be served. Though they quickly learned that that wasn't necessarily the case. Despite his confession, officers were unable to charge Douglas or put him on trial, as the statute of limitations had already expired. Although the suspect did not face his consequences, at least the family did finally get answers they waited so long for. The fact that this case was solved by a simple Facebook post supports the idea that social media and online communication can be great contributors for solving crimes.
Well, they're all pretty much sad, except for that second to the last one. That made me happy to see that. I'll bet it reminds me of years ago when that Elizabeth Smart got kidnapped and everybody thought she was dead. I thought she was dead. I thought for sure she was. And then seeing the video of her dad coming to pick her up and everything, oh man, I get choked up right now thinking about it, stuff like that. But there is a lot of good in this world. Okay, how about a joke? The problem isn't that obesity runs in my family. The problem is no one runs in my family. Thank you, everybody. Make sure you like, comment, subscribe, hashtag Mean Gene, all that fun stuff. And if you like this video, tell all your friends, leave a comment down below. And if you didn't like it, then just shut up. And I will see you next time.